Hola.
I didn't want to be a pastor. Looking at what happened in my life, I passed through a lot of things.
What do you conclude to be the most challenging thing when it comes to the progress of individuals? It can be financially, it can be spiritually.
You cannot climb the ladder of success within the costume of failure.
How do people see themselves?
I can compare our minds with a garden. Your mind is your garden. Yes, I might be from a poor background, I might be from a broken family, but that doesn't define who I am. The difference between the rich and the poor is not the money they have.
What is it?
The power is already in you. You just need to realize how powerful you are, how strong you are. As the man thinketh, so is he. Everything starts in our mind. We can change our mind, we can change the situation around us.
Just like the moment right now, I thought about having you, and this is the actualization of the moment of the moment I thought about.
I like the slogan of Nedbank. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
No, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, they say, see money differently. See money differently. Some people can see money as something for entertainment, but some people can say, man, I've got this money. What can I do to make more out of what I have?
Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to this channel. And I just want to take this moment to thank all our subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for subscribing. You have no idea what wonders subscribers do. Number one, it helps us to attract more informative guests, and it helps us to improve the setup around here. So thank you so much. And it also gives us motivation and discipline to see the goals of this podcast happening. So thank you so much. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. I don't know how to thank you.
Bishop RAKAKU, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure to be in your show.
I'm very grateful that you are here, and remembering my first encounter with you. Of course, it was with your church in Botshabelo. And before we dive into the subject of the matter for today, I just want to say thank you so much for being the person that you are in community, and for organizing such church. Your church was one of the supportive, structure we had for us via when we started. I still remember they organized even some dance challenge that we did in the past. Our restaurant was highly supported by your church. So thank you so much for being a blessing in our community.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah. To break the ice, I want to know, like, in this stage of your life, how you doing? What's the biggest lesson that you are being taught as an individual in the world of everyday challenges? What are some of the constant and permeative thoughts that you have on a daily basis in this area of your life?
Well, in my life, what I've learned or what I'm doing is to never give up. No matter what the challenge, but never give up. And above all, stay humbled. I believe in the word that says, if we humble ourselves in the sight of the Lord, then He will lift us up. We don't have to lift ourselves up, but we just need to stay humbled and do the will of God, irrespective of what the circumstances are. But we need to keep on doing the will of God. If we do His will, then He will do His will in our lives.
You are a bishop today. I don't know, when do you become a bishop, and when do you encounter God as a human being? But I would like you to tell us, when did you encounter God, and what are some of the situations that led to that encounter?
I grew up in a place called Kwakwa. It's in Masaling in Kwakwa. So I was like if every other boy, playing in our streets, playing football, doing everything like that. And then there was a crusade led by Muruti Mofuke Masusu. And then from there, that's where we went to the tent. As young boys, we were playing. We didn't know what to do. We're just going for enjoyment. There was nothing serious. But then after that, it became serious. And then it was under the leadership of Murutira Kholela. That's where we start to encounter God. That's where I realized that there is God. There is God. And then eventually I was working with Murutira Kholela, was his keyboardist. When he was holding the crusade, I was playing the keyboard for him. That's where this becomes real. But now many pastors came to me and say, man, you are called by God. But I didn't believe that. I didn't want to be a pastor. I never dreamed of being a pastor. I was just a keyboard in the church, and I enjoy playing keyboard. I enjoy singing in the church. But eventually there were some circumstances that led to me being a pastor. I was under the leadership of Mtate Muruti Mahapi. And then I was in Kopa, I think, in Keston. And then I normally talk about this. My sister-in-law, when she was praying, she said something that never left my mind since from that day. As she was praying, she said, guide him. Those words never left my mind. And then when we left Kestel, we come to Botshabelo. Just when we enter into Botshabelo, we received the news that Muruti Mahapi passed on. He was involved in the accident. And once I heard that, those words came back to me. And there's another pastor who was in Lady Brand. He gave me a call and said that don't run away. God is calling you. And there's another one in Harrismith who called me just after that and said, man, even if you don't want to be a pastor full time, just do it part time.
What is it that they were seeing?
I don't know. I really don't know.
They wouldn't tell you.
No, they just told me that God is calling you. But I think there was something that they see, but or maybe I was in denial state. I didn't want to be a pastor really. But if God calls you, whether you like it or not, you will end up being there. If you don't go there voluntarily, you'll find that you are forced to be there.
That's interesting. Because I attended your sermon in the beginning of the year, and that's one of the things that you mentioned, that when you are a child of God, your life is not dictated by where you want to see yourself or what do you want for yourself, but is dictated by the mission that God has for you, that God will place you in places that you never thought you will be, and the places that you probably personally you don't prefer, but you find yourself in those circumstances.
That's true.
Could you argue that probably that's like one of the reasons people are struggling in their lives right now? I mean, many people that cannot find peace of mind, happiness, they cannot live with themselves. Is it because they are in denial of something?
Probably it's because they are in denial. You know, one of the things that was happening to me, I didn't want to be the pastor because I couldn't find the job. Because some of the people were saying the reason why you can't find the job or why you couldn't find the job is because you are running away from the calling. So I didn't want to I didn't want to be a pastor because I couldn't find the job. So I want to be the pastor because God is calling me. But maybe that was my perspective at that time. But like I said, when God is calling you, you cannot run away from the calling of God. You look at Moses. He ended up killing people. He killed the Egyptian. He was running away, spent about 40 years in the wilderness, but eventually He came to the place where he was running away from. He ended up being in Egypt because God was calling for him. It was God's calling. So if God is calling you, yes, we can be in denial, especially looking at the circumstances at the moment, the way things are happening now. You know, one thing I normally say, when you look at the pastor, sometimes you could say, hey, when you look at this person, say, I don't want to be a pastor. When you look at this pastor, so you look at how are they struggling, because pastors in most cases find that pastors are struggling. And then that's one of the things that make our children to hate being a pastor. When they look at their fathers, the treatment they get, the struggles they go through, then the children end up saying, I don't want to be the pastor. But God always has a way. No matter the struggles you go through, well, I am one of the people, I can be a witness to that. Looking at what happened in my life, I passed through a lot of things. I know how to be rejected. I know how people can talk and say bad things about you. People cannot trust you. They cannot believe you. I know of all those things. It happened in my life. You can be struggling financially, and then people don't want to listen to you. But if God is calling for you, nothing will change that. Look at Moses. Even the people who were working with Moses, Miriam and Aaron, they ended up not believing in Moses. They said, whatever Moses is doing, we can do it better than him. Because they didn't believe in him. But God, when God is calling for you, he's not looking at your abilities, but he's looking at your availability. Are you available for God to do what he wants to do, not what you want to do for him? So are you available for God to use you? So I said, God, I didn't know anything, but here I am. I'm available.
Do you still remember like precisely which moment converted your mindset, as you didn't want to be a pastor and you surely had this constantly that I know people are calling me into this, you guys are calling me into this, but this is not what I want to sign up for? Do you still remember like the propelling moment, the exact moment that converted your mindset and you look this differently?
Yeah, after that, because there are many things that were happening before that, because that was the end of it. Like I said, the two pastors who called me, the one who was in Lady Brent and the other one was in Harrismith. They didn't know what was happening. They didn't know what my situation. It was at that moment where I was struggling to say, what can I do now? And then they came. It was as if they saw what I was going through. They heard my cry. They hear what I was saying, but they were not there. They were not there. They were not aware of what is happening. But then those ways that they said, and then the one was in Lady Brand. He even sang me a song, the song that is sung by Jimmy Soga. He said there were so many others that he might have called, that he might have chosen, but he chose me. Then at that moment, it was at the time where I was saying, in the church, there are many people, man, who can be pastors. Why me? So that moment, he didn't know what I was going through, but he said those words as if he was saying, this is what you need to do. Don't doubt yourself. God chose you for a reason. It was at that moment where I said, God, let your will be done. And after saying that, it doesn't mean that everything just happened. They were struggling. It was just the beginning of the fight. People in the church didn't believe me. They were fighting. Others were saying, no, we want that one, we want that one. But eventually, I became the pastor.
Some of the gifts that came with you being a pastor, like what are some of the gifts that remain remarkable in you becoming a pastor? I'm asking this question from an angle of sometimes you deny something that is gonna give you benefits because it's like you seeing it through the eyes of disguise that I'm not sure what's happening here, and when you get into it, you're like, oh my God, this is so unbelievable. So what are some of the gifts or remarkable moments that you had as a pastor?
The first thing that happened after I became a pastor, we had to conduct a wedding. I've just become a pastor, and then someone wants to get married in the church. And then we had to conduct that wedding. So the way that wedding was conducted, the preparations for the wedding, and then it was so, people will say, man, you've just become the pastor, but look at what you are doing. It's so remarkable. And thanks to the help of my wife, she's very good at organizing. She's very supportive. So it was that. But then beside that, I am the teacher of the Word of God. So that's one thing that I enjoy doing. I enjoy teaching the Word of God. So it was through those teachings that people will say, man, my life has changed. My life has changed. You have helped me. I didn't understand this better, but after you explain it, then there was that, it was like a revelation to me. So that's one thing that I like, teaching the Word of God.
Bishop, living in the community of like township, it's a space where people call it survival of the fittest.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that are happening which can hold an individual back from being progressive. Because our obsession as this show is to actually enable someone who's out there to be progressive. Like for instance, what you just mentioned, that sometimes it's not like your abilities that are failing, but it's your availability. So when someone hear that, they introspect around their statement and be like, I wonder if I'm available. I wonder is it the problem of availability or the ability? So with you having worked with a lot of people, I assume, what do you conclude to be the most challenging thing when it comes to the progress of individuals? It can be financially, it can be spiritually. What is it that you notice which is common? People struggle a lot and it's holding them back. It gives them sleepless nights.
All right. I think it can be two things. Number one, mindset. Your mindset. And number two, it can be assumptions. Talking about mindset, you need to change your mindset. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? You need to develop your mindset. One man once said, you cannot climb the ladder of success wearing the costume of failure. You cannot succeed as long as you think that you cannot succeed. Success starts in your mind. Everything that is happening around us starts in. We cannot control what is happening around us, but we can influence the outcome of what is happening around us. We can influence the outcome of what is happening. We don't have control. Whether people like you or not, you don't have control over that. Whatever people are saying about you, you don't have control over that. But you can influence whatever is happening around you. You need to change your mindset. How do you see yourself? You are not what people say you are. You are not what people say you are. People can call you names, can call you whatever they want to call you. But what will change that is that how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself?
How do people see themselves in most cases? Like what is it? How do they see themselves? Maybe that you realize to be faulty.
If I can quote, maybe make an example from the Bible. I think it's on Numbers chapter 13, where Moses sent 12 spies to scout the land, the Canaan land.
Yeah.
Now, out of that 12, 10, the report, all of them were saying that is a good land. The land is exactly the same way as the Lord says it is. But 10 of them say, but there's a problem. We saw the giants in that land. And now, something very interesting is that they said, I think it's verse number 13, if not chapter 13, verse number 31, 30 31. They says, we were in their eyes as locusts. And then, in fact, they said, in front of them, we see us. In front of them, we were like locusts. And that's how they see us. In other words, they firstly see themselves as locusts.
Oh my God.
And then they assume that people are seeing them in that very same way. But the important thing is that that's how they see themselves first. They see themselves as locusts. And then because they see themselves as locusts, then they assume that that's how people are seen. That's how they see me when they look at me. In fact, but that was not the case. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter who is standing in front of you. I like to think of the lion. They call the lion, they call it the king of the jungle. But when you look at the lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. It's not the biggest animal in the jungle. It's not the tallest animal in the jungle. It's not the fastest or the smartest animal in the jungle. But all the animals in the jungle, they say, this is the king of the jungle. Why? Because of its attitude. Attitude comes from your belief system. How do you see yourself? The lion sees itself as a king of the jungle. Now, when it sees a big animal in the jungle, it doesn't say, this animal is going to kill me. The belief system says, you are the king of the jungle, no matter how big the animal is. But it's your food, it's your lunch. Then when you see a big animal, it says, the attitude says, you attack. That's the mindset that the lion has. It says, attack, this is your lunch.
It doesn't see itself as a steak.
No. But those other animals, no matter how big it is, no matter how large it is, the mindset, the belief system says, man, when you see a lion, you see someone is going to eat you, therefore run. You see a big animal running away from a small lion. It's an attitude. It's how the lion sees itself. That's why I'm saying in life, it depends on how do you see yourself. Do you see yourself as a failure, as a loser? Or do you see yourself as someone who's going to succeed in life, no matter what challenges are? And one thing that I think we do forget in life is that no problem is permanent. No challenge is permanent. Everything, you see me today, you might see me struggling today, but my struggles today doesn't define who I am going to be tomorrow. I might be struggling today, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to struggle for the rest of my life. Breakthrough will come, but I just need to change my mindset. See, if I keep on working harder, I will definitely come to the end of my problems, and they will definitely come to the end. That's why I'm saying the first thing that we need to do, we need to change our mindset. Sometimes when we see the problems, we say, this is the end of me. I can't get out. That's why sometimes people end up killing themselves, committing suicide. Because when they see the problem, they see the end of themselves. They see there's no way out. But like I said, one man once said, tough times never last, but tough people do. So no matter how big is your challenge, you just keep on working hard. You will even, all the successful people, you look at them around the world today, all the successful people, you ask them about their struggles. They will tell you about their struggles.
It's so interesting. I love what you're saying right there. And when we look at these problems, like we think like there's no way out. We think like this is our destiny. And in your words, it's not true. It's just how you see it.
It's how you see it.
It is true only in your mind.
In your mind. I can compare our minds with a garden. Your mind is your garden. Your garden will produce whatever you plant in the garden. And you have to work on your garden. You prepare your garden, you prepare the soil, clean the garden, take out the stone, take out the weeds, prepare your garden. And the seeds that you plant in your garden, you plant the best seed in your garden. But the problem is we don't guard our gardens, which is our mind. We let every negative things get into our minds. And when it gets to our mind, like I said, our mind is like the soil. When it gets into your mind, it's going to germinate. And whatever it gets into your mind, if it's negative, it's going to bring negative things. But if it is positive, it's going to bring positive things. Our minds is like a garden.
No one is immune to negativity.
That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a saying. There's a saying. A lot of people would say, even though I'm working with negative people, I'm not like them. Or maybe the things that I write on social media, doesn't reflect me. That's my social media personality. It's not true what they're saying.
That's why I'm saying you cannot control whatever is coming to you or whatever is outside of yourself. Like whatever people are saying about you, you cannot control that. But you can influence that by how you live yourself. One man once said, if I have sort of interruption, dress the way you want to be addressed. The way you want people to address you, dress yourself. not in terms of the clothes, but clothes is a good example. If people see me wearing turkeys and the jeans and with my cap, how are they going to greet me?
Hola.
Itala. That's true. But when they see me wearing a suit and a tie, would they say Itala to me?
Good morning, sir.
Exactly. Because of how I dressed. So even in life, we need to dress with wisdom, dress with love, dress with those excellency. And that's how people are going to dress you. But if I'm dressing that losing mentality, I'm walking like someone who have lost, that's how people are going to see me.
I want to go back, Bishop, to the 12 men you're talking about who went to view the good land, and they came with the report. Something interesting happening right there, actually, which I wish we use to distinguish the mindset we're talking about. So you're saying there's a mindset that can hold you back because you view yourself as loser, you view yourself as not enough, you view yourself as a low caste. Among those men, I think there are two men who said something like, even though we are like grasshoppers in their eyes, but we will go and we will win.
Let's go up and win the land. Let's go up and conquer the land. Now, remember, I said two things that can disturb us from going forward. I talked about mindset, and the second one is assumptions. Now, this one, they were assuming that because those are the giants, that's assumptions. They were assuming that we can't defeat them. But at that moment, they forgot about who said to them, I have given you the land. The land already, it's yours. But your assumption about the people occupying the land is that I can't win them. But they forgot about who said, I have given you the land. That is the assumptions. Talking about the assumption, again, you might be facing some challenges. Then you assume that because someone failed in that area, because my father didn't make it, because people are saying my father was a drunkard, then I'm going to be the drunkard. My parents were poor, then people are assuming that I'm going to be poor too. So that assumption is what is controlling people and what is preventing them from succeeding in their life. That assumptions. So we need to develop that strong mindset, and we need to deal with those assumptions. Yes, I might be from a poor background, I might be from a broken family, but that doesn't define who I am. It doesn't mean that because my father was poor, then I'm going to be poor. It doesn't mean that because no one in my family has ever graduated. That is assumptions. And then when people are looking at your family, they're saying no one has ever graduated in your family. So who do you think you are? Do you think you can succeed? That is an assumption. So if we believe those assumptions, that is going to prevent us from succeeding in our lives. Hence I said we need to deal with the mindset and the assumptions.
What you just said, I want to link it up with, I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Gideon. When the angels come to him, they're like, Gideon, you're the strongest man.
Exactly.
And he's like, how do you say I'm the strongest man where I'm coming in such a background?
Exactly. I'm from the poor background. My family is and I'm the least in that family. In other words, there's nothing good that people can expect from me. But even at that state, the angel says, go with the power that you have. In other words, the power is already in you. You just need to realize how powerful you are, how strong you are, how graced you are, how favored you are.
It doesn't matter this background that you're talking about.
It doesn't define who we are. Our background doesn't define who we are.
I love that so much. When you speak about assumption, I get a message that we get defeated before we even fight.
Exactly.
We write ourselves off. You spoke a lot about how people think. I want us to jump to this cliche or this scripture or this principle that we read a lot about from self-help books and even in the Bible, that as the men think, so is he.
All right.
What sense do you make about this statement, and what it really mean in simple terms, that as you think, so you are?
Okay. As the man thinketh, so is he. It starts with a mind. What do you think about yourself? What do you think about the situation you are failing? And whatever you are thinking, that's how you are. You see the situation, and then in your mind says, I've already been defeated. That's my thinking. So you are. You see a situation saying, I can do this. I got this. In your mind, so you are. In other words, like I said, we are not being defined by things that are from around us, that are happening around us. But what do you think about the situation? What do you think? How do you see it? That's where the mindset comes in. You see the situation. Look at during that time of COVID, I think we were all scared. The whole world,
Yeah.
we were very scared. But are you aware that during that time, there were people who were making a lot of money? True. That's how they saw the challenge. We saw something that's going to kill us, but they saw an opportunity to make money. That's how they saw it. You know, our minds are so powerful. They are so strong. They can create some things that are not there, and you see them in your mind, even if it's not there. We talked about COVID. Let's say maybe it's in the middle of the night and then you're coughing. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'm getting flu or something like that.
It's COVID. Just arrived. And then when tomorrow you wake up, now you are now sweating, even if the COVID is not there, but it's in your mind. So your mind can create something that is not there to a point that you see that it's happening. It's in your mind. Now imagine, like I said, the mind is like a garden. Whatever you see is something that you plant in your mind. Whatever you hear is something that you can plant in your mind. So we need to take care of our gardens, which is our mind. What do we see? What do we watch? What do we hear? You know, if something is your mind, it's in your mind, that's where your focus is going to be. You're going to focus on that. For example, if I'm just, let's say I've just bought a car, whatever car may be, a red car. Let me make an example, say it's VW, the red VW, the red Polo. After buying my car, a red VW Polo, how many red VWs am I going to see just after that?
So many.
So many. But where were they before I buy my car?
Oh my God.
They were still there. But because my focus was not on the red VW Polo, my focus was not there. I couldn't see them. But now that my focus is on the car that I'm driving the red car, then my focus is there. Then when I look on the right hand side, I see the red VW coming. When I see because now my focus is at that thing that is in my mind. So now, if my mind has got something positive, it means my focus is going to be on positive things. So even if people can say bad things about me and say, no, my focus is not this, and this is not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. Then I will see what is in my mind.
So the situation that we see around, these are situations that we manufactured through our thoughts.
Exactly.
Just like the moment right now, I thought about having you, and this is the actualization of the moment of the moment I thought about. That we will be sitting like this with Bishop and having this moment. So in your words, we can think ourselves out of these situations that we don't prefer.
It starts in our mind. Everything that we see started it was actually in a one man's mind. Everything that we see, it's someone's mind. Everything that we see. You see a car, you see the light, you see everything. This was in someone's mind. You see a phone, it was in someone's mind. And what we are doing here, it was in your mind, like we are saying. It was in your mind. You had this in your mind. And now here it is the actualization of what was in your mind. Everything starts in our mind. We can change our mind. We can change the situation around us. That change starts in our mind. And then if we change our minds, then our focus will be on what is in our minds. Starts with our mind.
This make a very perfect chain, like the mindset, attitude, assumption. When we when we have a good mindset, when we see ourselves as like better people, if we want to be rich people, we'll start seeing rich opportunities.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is what you will attract.
Just like we see the polos.
Exactly.
I love that. If one wants to change their mindset and their thinking pattern, what are some of the things that you maybe can prescribe or recommend that they do? Say someone is just being attacked by these negative thoughts, these thoughts that do not make them progressive or do not actually benefit them in a lifetime. What are some of the things that they can do to actually find themselves in positive thinking, growth mindset, and stuff like that?
What can contribute to that is the people we surround ourselves with, the environment we put ourselves in most cases. Let me make an example. No offense, please. I was staying in Botshabelo. In Botshabelo, where I was staying, I wanted to extend the house. I was staying in a 4-room. Then we have 2 yards. Then we had a plan, and that plan was going to take that 2 yards. But unfortunately, they said we can't build the house that occupies 2 yards. We have to make that 2 yards 1 yard first. So we couldn't get that right. Then eventually we were looking for the house, but we found a house here in Bloemfontein. Now, where I'm staying now, I've been staying here since from 2007. Now, when I go to where I was staying, it's like, my goodness, was I staying here? My yard was good in Botshabelo. My place was good. It was well kept. Then it was nice. It was nice. But now, since I'm staying here, I'm saying, man, they can't fit here. Because of the surroundings, because of the environment where I'm staying. People are using devil forks, they are using walls to cover their yards. Now, this is where I'm staying. But when I'm looking at that, it's like, hey, my goodness. But when I was at that environment, when I was at that place, I was comfortable. And people who are still staying there, they're still comfortable. They have extended their houses. It's beautiful houses, but now when I look at that, I say, man, how was I staying? How was I surviving here? Because of the environment. So as long as you are in a certain environment, then you are going to feel comfortable. Tell me about comfortable. When people, they are in what they call the comfort zone, they will never grow. But you need something that will challenge you. That's why I'm saying the environment you are in will help you to develop your mindset, the environment you are in, and the people you surround yourself with. Then what are you talking about when you are with your friends? Are you talking about success? Are you talking about failures? Are you talking about how bad is the world today? How bad is the economy? If that is what you are feeding your mind, you are going to miss the opportunities. So talk to people who are saying, man, yes, no matter how bad is the economy, but we can do something about that. No matter the environment we are in, but we can do something about that. So you need to put yourself in the people who are challenging your mind, who are challenging your thoughts, who are seeing things in a different way. I like the slogan of Nedbank. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
No problem.
Yeah, they say, see money differently. See money differently. Some people can see money as something for entertainment, but some people can say, man, I've got this money. What can I do to make more out of what I have? That's how they see money. So as long as we don't change our mindset, we won't be able to change our focus. I'm sorry for that. I normally say the difference between the rich and the poor is not the money they have.
What is it?
The mindset. The difference between the rich and the poor is their mindset. You can give a poor person, even if you can give the poor person millions, but he's still going to be a poor millionaire. You go to him after 6 months, after a year, where would that money be?
Scattered back to where it was taken from.
That's what I'm saying. Because if I am poor, then my mindset say, I've got millions now. I was poor yesterday. Today I've got millions. What do I do with these millions? I'm going to show them. Uvugilo Malamba. I'm going to show them.
I'm going to take the speaker outside and pray every day.
Exactly.
Go to constant vacations.
But after that, what will people forget is that no matter how much money you have, but as long as you keep on spending and there is no income, you're going to finish off that money.
I love that, Bishop.
No matter how much money you have. But if you keep on spending the money and there is no income, you're going to finish off that money. So if I have money, how can I make it more? I'm not saying don't entertain yourself. You have to thank yourself once in a while. It's okay. But don't make it a habit. Now, I was talking about the difference. Now, a rich person says, if I have money, how can I make more out of this? I heard the story of one guy, I can't remember his name. He's one of the richest people in the world. When he was opening the bank, he's a multi-millionaire, that guy. Then he wanted to open a bank. When he wanted to open a bank, he go to other bank, take the loan, and open the bank. He didn't use his money. He take the loan to open the bank, and then eventually the bank was paying itself. This didn't affect his balance. This didn't affect his money, but the bank was generating more money. That's what I'm saying. The difference is, how do we think, our mindset?
He took a debt to start a business that is going to generate more money, and in that particular business there was money for the premium, like to pay for the debt, and there was the generation that was coming straight to him.
Exactly.
Debt. And other people take debt, but that debt become like a torture in their lives.
I'm taking a debt. What am I going to do? I'm going to buy, it's Christmas, I'm going to take a loan to buy Christmas for my kids, to buy food, and then January, oh my goodness, children have to go back to school, the loan in Surikadiwashi. So if you take the loan, take a loan that will generate money.
Do you think the poverty we see is a question of race?
Well, it's raised because it's happening mostly to the Africans. But I think it can be due to the fact that in most cases you find that we Africans were never taught about money, how to generate money. We're taught that go to school, get education, and go find a job. That's why people become frustrated now, because I'm graduated, but I can't find a job. But we're not taught to create job. Go to university, get education. Then once you're educated, if you can't find a job, create job yourself. Create job. So that's why people can say, no, I can't do anything. But you have to start, you have to fight to get what you want. We have to fight. But for us to be able to do that, I think it starts with our mindset. So, and one thing is that if we keep on blaming other people for our misfortunes, then we won't get out of that. If we don't take accountability, if we don't take responsibility, then we keep on blaming other people. I'm poor because of apartheid, I'm poor because of this. And yes, they contributed to that. But now it's time for us to do something better. Let us change our mindset. Let's take responsibility. Let's take accountability. There are a lot of opportunities. We can make it. An African child can make it. Just change your mindset. Don't see yourself as a loser. Don't see yourself, don't judge yourself based on your background. Don't say, because I'm from the poor family, then I can't make it. I've been under apartheid, I can't make it. No, we need to change that mindset. Say, guys, there are a lot of opportunities now.
So I want to narrow this down. In order for one to change their mindset, number one, they have to consider their environment, changing their environment.
It's true.
Number two, they have to learn how to take accountability, take full responsibility for their situation.
It's true.
Do you have number three?
Yeah. Number three is take action. Take action. Do something. You know, one man once said, it's difficult to start, but once you have started, then you'll see a lot of opportunities coming up. So you can have those ideas, you can have those dreams, but if you don't take actions, they will just remain that, dreams. I think the most important thing is to, if you want to do something, start now. Do it now.
Bishop RAKAKU, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I have two last questions. I don't know how you grew up, and I don't know like what are some of the challenges that you were presented with as a young child, maybe a boy child, if I may put it like that. If you had to give an advice to the person that went through the situation that you went through, I mean, when you were young, I think you're the best person to give the younger version of yourself an advice, because now you have probably overcome all those things. What's the advice that you have for the young you?
Yes, one thing you are right about is that I struggled in my life. My family was poor. You know, when you are poor to a point that even the poor people call you poor. So that's how we were. We were struggling, we were poor. But through hard working, believing in yourself, not only yourself, and believing in God, and finding the right support system, then you can make it. Find people who can see the best in you. Find people who can support you. That's where the mentors and coaches comes in. Have a mentor, have a coach. Someone can see the ability in you. Someone can say, man, you can make it. Who can hold you by your hand and say, man, you can make it. And it doesn't mean that because you have a coach or you have a mentor, then you can say, I have a coach, I have a mentor, then things will happen. You still have to take this responsibility, the accountability. You still have to work hard. Working hard, believing in yourself.
So the mentors are not there to walk the journey on your behalf, but they are there to guide you.
To guide you.
You still have to walk the journey.
It's true. It's true.
Bishop RAKAKU, you have touched so many lives around, including mine, very positively. When it's like, if you had a last message for maybe your last days, what would it be? How do you want people to remember you? What is it that you would probably love to hear when you are living in a spiritual world from the people that you have touched?
One thing I love most is when someone say, I am what I am because of what I learned from you. You touched my heart, my life in many ways. Yeah, what I like is to touch people's lives. But what I can say is that I cannot change your life by touching you, just touching you. But whatever I have, I was reading something when I was wanted to think, was written in the Bible, where Jesus says, I want you to have the fruits. I want you to bear. I think it's in John chapter 15, verse 16, if not mistaken, where Jesus said, I have chosen you. I have not only chosen you, but I've chosen you to bear fruit, much fruit, long-lasting fruit. So, how can we have long-lasting fruit? Money is not long-lasting fruit. Cars is not long-lasting fruit. But changing people's life, that can be a long-lasting fruit, because I can touch your life with my teachings, with whatever I'm saying, the example that I said. And if you are learning from me, and then you're going to be an example to someone, then you find that I've only touched you, and then you've touched 30 people. So even if I'm gone, you'll still be here. The people that you are touching their lives, like the recording that you are doing there, maybe someone somewhere is touching someone's life, and many people's lives are going to change. Then if people's lives are changing, even if I am not here, this recording will still be here, and then the people's lives will still be changed. That's what I like. Have lasting fruits.
Thank you so much for joining the show. It's an honor to have you here.
It has been a pleasure, sir.
So this is season 2. I'm hoping maybe to see you on season 5, just to catch up when we have like full proper equipment, when we can do long durated videos.
Yeah, you know, like this time that we had now, you know, many things were coming to my mind. I wish I could talk about many things, but now because of time, I'm just trying to say things in short.
I see.
Yeah, but there are many things, you know, everything that I talk about, we can make it a topic. You can talk about it for the whole session.
For sure.
Thank you, Bishop. It has been a pleasure.
I'll have
to
you
with
sometime as time goes on.
It will be highly appreciated.
Thank you
and I'd
so
love
much.
to be here again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.